The field I'm currently engaged in is something called network verification, right? And it is a kind of mixture, or what I would call a confluence of two fields: networking, and which is like the internet as you know it, and it's a field called formal methods that tries to model everything in computer algorithms and computer processes as mathematical objects, and literally kind of proves that they're correct. And my journey to it happened because I spent the first part of my career trying to make the internet fast, and now it's pretty fast. But still, people make a lot of mistakes, and they bring down the internet. With things like your phones, most of the data is in the cloud, and all the stuff gets delivered to you across the network. And so now it's more and more important that your network is correct. And so that's been some of the reasons why I made this transition from network algorithmics to network verification. So I think 5G is a very loose term, and people don't know what they mean by it yet. So in that sense, if you can give it a definition, it'll come probably, it could be even in India right now. But I think there are a couple of things. People are looking for very high, more bandwidth, a lot more lower latency. So I think it will happen, and I would say in another 5 years, though, because there are many ideas being, like millimeter technology and many other things like that are becoming quite real now. And so I would say, and India is such a hot market that it will come to India. I see. It means, I guess, that you can do so many more things so much easier with things like your phones, right? So it's not clear that before you had to connect to the internet through a server, and I guess all these apps will just become so much easier to use with so much more bandwidth. But other than that, it doesn't, ultimately, it's the new application logic that really changes user experiences. This is just an enabler. Amazing that everything in the internet is hackable, right from every level. From, you can spoof MAC addresses, you can spoof internet addresses, you can pretend to be Google. So it's, to me, a miracle. It just works. So, and cryptography helps, but there's a lot more that is needed. So I think it's going to be a long ways before we get into a secure internet. So it's the major Achilles heel, and I think some major incident where we're already seeing these incidents where they hack a bunch of addresses and social security numbers, but I don't see any brilliant solution in the office. I think they're still running on a prayer and hope. I can't. I would say you should be afraid. Yeah, I think, who is this guy? Bill Joy, I think, of Sun. He said, privacy is dead. Get over it, right? In the sense that people just need your data for so many reasons. But we've had that from before too. We've had credit cards. They have your data. The government has your data. So it's just the vast number more people who have your data and who are sending it in the clear is actually increased. So definitely privacy is a major problem, and it's good that you have these privacy advocates who are fighting back, and so hopefully there's some kind of balance. But it's, to some extent, when you use all these free services like Google, Facebook, they're free, but the price is you have to do something. You give up some of your data, and in order for them to personalize ads to you, and that's how they make their revenue. So maybe it's this exchange going on. You want paid services, you get privacy. You don't want to pay, you lose your privacy. So I'm less of an expert there, but I would say that clearly there is. I like computational medicine a lot because it's a mixture of a physical field and medicine and computation. So I like computational genomics a lot. But AI is clearly interesting. You can see all the people who went to Sophia, right? And we are seeing it increasingly at UCLA. 3/4 of our applicants want to do AI. So it used to be, a good percentage wanted to do networking, but now it's a vast majority want to do AI. So we are seeing, artificial intelligence is suddenly becoming real. with things like Siri, people are beginning to say, wow. Before it was kind of an idea, and people talked about it, but now it's some kind of real thing. So I think AI is still is a really exciting area. So I don't know what the education system is like now, but I know what it was like when I was there, and I thought it was great. I thought IITs were wonderful. They really trained you, and you're ready for anything when you went. So later on, even if you go to MIT or Stanford, you don't find anything hard. So even if you're in the middle of the class at IIT, you won't find anything hard there. I'm assuming they're roughly the same. In which case, I think they're great. They prepare. I think the regular educational system with more rote learning and things like that is a bit of a problem still. People find it hard to adapt to. But IITs are trained to be problem solvers, and I think that helps them wherever they go in the world. Right. So many, but let me take you one. So Manohar Parrikar, who gave a talk yesterday, and now the Chief Minister of Goa, when he was in my hostel. And even in those days, he was very bothered about he was a student, I think in metallurgy, like you, and he was 3 years maybe senior to me, and he was really bothered about the plight of mess workers, right? And he was constantly helping. There was a big strike, and he was helping them, find. It was a big problem because there was no food, but he was able to help settle that strike. And I think he later said, I think in his talk, that was one of the scenes of his political career. But one of my memorable memories was that we went to Goa, 4 of us, some friends of mine from IIT, and we just randomly happened to stop at his house. And we had dinner at his house. So now that he's chief minister and defense minister, it's kind of intriguing to think of him. And I met him yesterday, and he remembered, and it was fun to go over those old memories. Yeah. So I guess I would say that if your grades are not the best, right? IIT is very meritocratic, right? Everybody is fascinated by the topper, the person who is, the first in JE, the first 10 in JE, the one who gets the highest, the gold medalist. But I think life has a way of being more complicated than that, because IIT measures problem solving, but what the world often needs is creative thinking, right? So people who are creative. So, for example, I think some of these people like Manohar Parrikar, Nandan Nilekani, they were probably not gold medalists or like the standard academic pro forma, but they learned to do interesting things, whether in politics or management, or some of us. I didn't have I was not a gold medalist either or anything else, but we learned to be creative, whether with people or with ideas. And so I would say that if you're not quite in that rarefied thing, don't worry. Just find yourself, be creative, try to solve, and you might find yourself having an amazing career that and your grades at IIT do not define you.